Hi, I'm Brian from Northwest Bronco. Welcome back to the channel. So what we're going to be looking at today in a little more detail than before is the actual Camp Frederick view, which is a pretty cool fuel can. You can see that it's absolutely been shot to hell. Huge amount of debris. So, all right, we made it to camp, and I've never been in this spot before, but it's pitch dark, so I'm not really sure exactly what's around here. But all right, it's about 10:30 at night, and Charles made it to camp. So we're going to go ahead and go to bed, and we'll see you in the morning for breakfast. And last night around 10 o'clock, Charles and Bob did make it in here. They're parked behind me over here. So we stayed up to about 11, chit-chat a little bit, and went to bed. Now it's about 7:30, and at 9, we're going to meet Casey from Coyote Works channel down the road here, along with a couple other guys, and then we're going to have a little bit of a desert adventure today. All right, so for breakfast this morning, we're going to kind of do the usual thing. I brought one of my favorites, which is the biscuits and gravy Mountain House, and a liquid IV. These are actually made now sugar-free, so I started buying those. This one's lemon lime, and a couple of Folgers coffees. You know, if I had to recommend a breakfast for Mountain House for you guys, I'd definitely recommend the biscuits and gravy. It's just, if you've never had freeze-dried breakfast before, this would probably be the one I suggest. Hey, Bob. Come here, Bob. All right, so we are out of camp, heading down the trail here, and now we're going to head up the road a little bit here to meet up with the other guys and see where Casey's most likely going to take us. All right, so we all made it to the meeting spot here, and we have Jason up front, and then me and Charles, and we're waiting on Casey, and figured I'd take myself a little road shower here and brush my teeth and all that, but we all have a little bit of a bet going on what time we think Casey's going to be here. We were supposed to meet between 9 and 10, and according to Charles, Casey's kind of known to be at 10 o'clock on the dot. All right, so we just talked with Casey, and he gave us a kind of the rundown on what we're going to be doing. I guess we're going to be going out to a place called Ram Lake, and we're going to be staying the night out there, but he's got a whole bunch of sites that we're going to see along the way. So we'll see what kind of surprises he has in store for us, and just have a fun trip. So right now we're all just kind of walking a line, just kind of gridding this area, spread out, seeing what we can find. There's this farm implement that's still sitting here, and it looks to me like, and we all kind of came to the conclusion together that it looks like possibly this is something that made rows for planting. But there's a homestead right down here that we think might be down there, so we're going to take a look at that next. So there's a stove jack right there and some cans, and then right here is what we think is a root cellar, but we're not really finding a foundation anywhere, so we're kind of wondering if maybe the homestead was built on top of the root cellar. So this is kind of a cool piece that we found here. It's a little piece of what would be like a glass cup of some kind, but it still has the rose design on it. All right, that was actually homestead site number 2. The first one I didn't show just because I didn't have my camera on me, but that was number 2. Found some neat stuff, and I guess we're gonna move on to another one. So I was just sitting here listening to Casey talk about his theory on what happened to this homestead. Is that because there's so many cool things like the doll hand and things like that, and just kind of more unusual items than typical homestead sites, that this one probably burned because they didn't really move. They more or less burned down with all their stuff. So that's why you're finding buttons, you know, little pieces of toys, things like that, because they didn't move and take it with them. So That's his theory, and I think I'm going to go along with it because it sounds good to me. But another thing he brought up is that because we have the doll hand and things like that, little toy type pieces, that chances are there was a family with kids here too.
Yeah. Or on the stove and made toast. Made
or,
some
right,
kind of
sure.
a makeshift burner or stove or something, but...
All right, we can see this is where the homestead is. We were looking at right behind me here. And there's just a lot of glass and a lot of debris, but it's really cool debris. So I think he's right that this probably had a family with kids and then it burnt down to the ground. But you can see their view here was absolutely beautiful. So we just pulled over at a spot where we've actually seen this spot before on my adventures, but we're going to take another look at it because I've never really been here with Casey to hear what he has to say about it. So you kind of see all this debris here in this wood. There's a stove jack over there too. This is where the home would have been. And then right back over there where Casey is, that's the windmill that's toppled over, the cistern to hold the water, and there's a well hole actually right where he's standing. So you can see right here, this is the windmill that's toppled over, the wooden cistern. And there's a barn somewhere way back there, Casey was saying, a bunch of debris. The house was there, and then that's where the road was. But there's something you can do that's kind of neat. With this well hole, you can actually sprinkle a little bit. We've done this before, but if you try to sprinkle the dirt down, it just blows back up. And that's how much air is coming out of there. There's Bob having the time of his life. All right, so that was another cool homestead site. So now we're gonna see where he's gonna take us next. All right, so that lake in front of us, that is indeed Ram Lake. And this is where we're gonna be staying the night tonight. So it's a beautiful spot back here. I've never been back here before, but I certainly am glad I'm here. All right, so right now we're just kind of driving the perimeter of the lake here, the old dried up lake, trying to find a spot that's a little bit away from the wind. So once we find a spot that's kind of sheltered from the wind, we'll go ahead and get out and set up camp. All right, well, I think we found home sweet home for the night. So we're kind of tucked in here in these trees here, and we're gonna have a community fire over there, and then we're gonna have a cooking fire somewhere else. And we're all just kind of parked in a circle here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up my camp, and then we're probably gonna end up cutting some firewood, things like that. So Charles has officially established camp right here. All right, so Charles here made, who made enchiladas? Was it you?
My girlfriend Leah made enchiladas.
Enchiladas, so we have one for everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and eat our dinner here and go from there.
Well, this is actually just an appetizer.
That's not dinner?
No.
Beans is dinner. This is appetizer.
Appetizer?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you guys, I spent like 4 hours on Wednesday night making those beans. So you better.
All right. So they're saying that right there is a snack before dinner.
Reference.
Appetizer.
That's an appetizer.
The appetizer.
All right, so we just got done with dinner over here, and we had some of Casey's cowboy beans, which is absolutely phenomenal meal. Love dinner. It was really good. Had some cornbread with it. It was really tasty, and so we're all just gonna kind of stand around the fire and kind of tell lies, and I'll probably see you guys again when we hop in the tent. All right, everybody, we're up here in the rooftop tent, and we had a really good dinner, and we all sat around and told stories. It was a lot of fun. It's about 8:30, and everyone decided they're going to go to bed because we've had a pretty long day. So I went up and fired up the old Cupid heater and just kind of pre-warmed the tent, and I got my electric throw going inside the sleeping bag. So I'm going to be comfortable tonight. It'll be plenty warm. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and head off to bed and see how the night goes, and we'll see you guys in the morning for breakfast. All right, good morning, everybody. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's pretty darn cold out, but I ran my little Cupid heater here for a few minutes just to warm the tent up a little bit. So while I get dressed, I'm nice and warm, but I'm gonna go ahead and get dressed, and then we're gonna get down and see what's going on with everybody else. All right, well, it looks like everyone's up already, and they got some fires going, so I can see the warming fire, and then there's also the cooking fire going to the right over there. I think Casey's going to do a little bit of breakfast, but I actually need to leave here this morning, even though everyone else is going to stay for another night. I got to go home. So, all right, so for breakfast, I'm at least going to get my coffee going. So a couple of Folgers, instant Folgers coffees, some liquid IV in a bottle, and then probably, I guess I'm probably going to have biscuits and gravy, and then we're going to go from there. I forgot to tell you about their channel, so I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen here Casey and AVD with Roscoe and Tucker's channel, and kind of get those names up there so that you know where to find their YouTube channels. So I just say goodbye to all the guys in camp, and they're a great group of dudes. All of those guys are really, really friendly guys that really know their shit. But now we have another challenge on this trip. So I went ahead and dumped what was left in the fuel tank, so what I have is what I have, and now we need to be able to get out of here. You know, if you think you need some super four-wheel drive to come out here and do these adventures, you know, you need like a Badlands Bronco or a Jeep Rubicon or something like that, you don't. You don't need that stuff at all. What you do need is a little extra fuel and really, really good tires. So don't go cheap on the tires. I mean, hell, Tucker came out here and did this. He's got a Ford Ranger, you know, that's loaded with gear, and he has some good tires on it, and that, you know, that's it. I'm not even sure if it's four-wheel drive. All right, guys, this is kind of cool. I just had to pull over and stop and show you. See, that's the road we're going down right there. This is the old road. So this would have been the road that they used when they had wagons right here. So this would have been an earlier road, and that is the more modern road. So a lot of times with wagon roads, what you'll see is, you'll see like a U shape, a kind of an indentation that comes down. And what that's from is years and years of people clearing the rocks out, and then the rain coming and washing away the soil. And then the wagons come through the next year, move some more rocks out. So a lot of times you'll see rocks on either side, and then you'll see like a U indentation. This one isn't a good example of it, but you can kind of see a little bit of an indentation. So as you're poking along out here in the desert, a lot of times you'll find these gates, and these gates mostly are BLM gates and kind of dividing rangeland. Anyway, but you'll see these signs that are posted here, and it says here, please close gate. You just leave the gate how you found it. So if it's open, just drive through it and keep going, don't close it. If it's closed, usually there'll be a sign. Even if there's not a sign, just return the gate to the condition that it was in. I actually got out for a second because I have this little tiny spur road and I have a kind of an explorer marker at the end of it back here. So I'm just going to walk it and see what I can find. So we came in from the canyon way back there, and that's where the Bronco's sitting. There's a campfire pit there and this really cool wall that runs all the way along here. And underneath this tree here, there's some rusty stuff. So I'm going to take a look at this. It looks like we have an old stovepipe for some reason sitting down here, and underneath the tree here is this barrel. I wonder if they use it for a fire. Maybe. But it is interesting out here in the middle of nowhere. You know, I think next summer I'm going to go back to that spot and I'm going to send the drone over that spot, because I just feel like that there was a lot more going on there than meets the eye. Because there was those two little camp spots there, nice little areas, little tuck-in areas along the rim rock, nice sheltered from the wind. You could see a long way in every direction. I just get a feeling there's more stuff there. So I think next summer I'm going to mark that spot on Gaia, and I'm going to go back there and fly the drone over and see if I can find more stuff there. All right, so we're back on more familiar roads now, and I thought there's no better way to sign off this video than at a homestead, which I've showed you guys this homestead before. It's in my video pile down below. I just can't remember which one. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video, enjoyed the trip. Hopefully you enjoyed the company of all those other guys. Those guys are really, really cool bunch of dudes. Hopefully I'll get invited to go with them again, because I'd love to go out with them again. And yeah. So if you liked the video, help me out, give it a like, maybe subscribe for more Bronco content. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments area down below, and I will see you next time.